What's up, manifestation queens? We've got C plus Solu in the manifestation house. It's Sinead Aspel. How are you?
Hi there. How are you? It's great to be here.
I know. You've got your products on the table, and I absolutely love the color and the branding.
Oh,
where
thank
did it,
you.
Where did it come from?
Oh my
You
God,
do live
so
by the
much.
beach, don't you? Because you're
Yes,
same as me.
Yeah, and really that is that gradient print which took so long to get right. It's the kind of the sea into we're in Ireland, like surrounded by fabulous, really highly efficacious ingredients. So it's the sea, and then the gradient print is into the sand kind of. So it is representative of the water. We have a lot of kind of like algae based ingredients, and that was the kind of I wanted to be an Irish brand but with global appeal. So not very Irish, but still very much proud of our Irish heritage, but to be on a global scale. So
I
that's
love the branding, actually. I love the colours. Where did the name come from? C, obviously C.
C, exactly. The plus is actually kind of the efficacy behind the products. And Solu, the meaning of it is a feeling of absolute bliss.
Oh.
So we're all about a hair care ritual and kind of that feeling of self-care every day and treating your skin, your hair in the same way you do, your skin with the same care and attention. So that feeling of bringing like a ritual to your hair care every day.
Yeah.
Was the thought behind it. So yeah.
But you had C plus Soul, you were telling me.
I did have C plus Soul at the start. I don't know why I'm saying this even publicly. Yeah, and just when you go to trademark something, not that there was another brand Soul or C, but when you get into the legals of it, it's so particular, like the phonetic speaking, of C as in C the letter.
Yeah.
It could be mistaken, and I think there was a company in South Korea that might have had a C. The name wasn't taken, but they're very particular. Yeah. So we were forced, but actually having said that, I mean, Soul is such a common name, you're better to have a kind of a more unique name. So actually I'm much happier with Solu because it does have a meaning to the brand.
Yeah, and also if you think, maybe if you think about it, C plus Soul, you might be like, oh, is that a wellness retreat?
It could have been anything, really.
Yeah, and then now you'll associate it with the name. It's memorable.
It is, and it actually means a lot more, that feeling of that Solu feeling, that feeling of bliss. That's in everything we've done, from the packaging to the fragrance, which took about a year to create. It's that whole kind of overall wellness and kind of experience of using the brand. So
yeah, how did you get started?
LinkedIn. I find everyone on LinkedIn. It really happened very, I think it was in 2021. I was up in my bathroom with so many hair care products, as we all do.
Yeah.
And none of them really worked for what I was looking for. After I had my third child, my scalp got very sensitive. And I was finding it hard to find hair care products that were high quality but didn't irritate my scalp. And at the time, there wasn't a massive amount of products that were sulfate-free, silicone-free, phthalate, DEA-free. And that's the ethos, one of our values. We don't use any ingredients that are considered suspicious. And I just couldn't find any products that suited me at the time. I also was looking at products that, say, for example, were full of argan oil. And you turn over the back and argan oil would be way down the list of ingredients and they'd be full of silicones. And I'm like, so it was really when I decided to create a brand that was for healthy hair and scalp, to nourish and treat your hair and have the highest efficacious products we could get. So where did I go? I went to LinkedIn and I found an incredible chemist who I've worked with for the last 3-4 years and will continue to. And we formulate all our own products ourselves. We own all the formulations. And he's an incredible chemist. He's a world-class chemist. And I consider him a friend now at this stage. We work so closely. So that's where I started. And that took quite a lot. It takes a long time to formulate, test and bring a product to market.
Yeah, because you would imagine for your hair, that is going to take you time.
Yes, to even test the iterations. We went through so many different variations.
Because you can't just put it in once and be like, yeah, this is good.
No, it takes time. It's not like, you put on makeup, you see the before and after straight away, or even skincare where you can feel it. It takes time. And when you're using products that are sulfate-free, silicone-free, like a lot of times products with sulfates and with silicones, they coat your hair. So they instantly look better, but they're kind of blocking the hair. So with products that are free from sulfates and silicone, they're not doing that to their hair. And they're allowing the natural oils from the products to actually penetrate into your hair. And it can take 4 weeks of use to actually see the benefits of it.
God,
for the health of your hair.
I feel so, what's the word? I don't have the word for it, but like, I don't even look at my shampoos for what's actually in them. That's terrible.
That's normal. It's only when you start to have, I suppose, issues with, like I had issues with my scalp, or you get, say, like you have extensions, or you have 12-week blow dries, or, you know, you have a reason to look at ingredients. And that's probably why I wouldn't have looked before until I had issues with my own hair. And then I went really deep into it too. But ultimately it was not about coating my hair with products. It was the health of the hair and scalp was really important to us. So, and the point of difference, the other thing that we did was, you know, your hair changes throughout the year. You know, it's anti-frizz would be certainly the biggest hair concern that we can see in Ireland, especially in summer. So we are a customizable haircare brand, so that you can, rather than buying a shampoo for frizz, or, you know, a treatment for frizz, or, you know, your hair is dry one day, or it's you know, it needs more strength another day. We've these little boosters, they're turbocharged boosters that can be added to all of your products, your own shampoo and conditioner, the mask, your own mask, depending what your hair needs at a point in time, to customise your hair care, to create your own bespoke hair care routine.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So is that like the droppers that you can just drop it into
any of your products, or even on your hair itself, and you can dose it up and down as what you need, but you only need a couple of drops, because there's nothing in those but clinically proven active ingredients.
Oh, I love that.
Yes, that's kind of our point of difference.
That is a great USP.
Yeah,
that's their USP. USP. I never really thought about that, but what a great idea, because like your hair is going to change, and like, say for example, I get my hair dyed blonde. Only a little bit, guys. I'm natural. Just kidding. I'm not. But it can be dry then. You know, completely. So then you add your moisture drops just for that extra punch of moisture, that kind of boost of moisture. Or, you know, because I was as blonde as you last year, I don't know what, I destroyed my hair actually, but strength, it had got very weak, so it needed a bit of extra strength and protection and stuff. So your hair, it changes all the time. And
even
you go
in
on
seasons,
vacation.
You go on vacation and you're
in the chlorine pool,
exactly.
And you're out in the sun.
And yes, exactly.
My hair used to turn green when we lived in California, because basically I was in the chlorine all the time. But I had naturally blonde hair when I was a kid, and it used to turn green. Like that's what.
Yeah, so even something like the mask is because it's a pre-shampoo or a post-shampoo. So if you're out in the sun, you put it in. When you're in the sun, you leave it in. So you're treating your hair as well as protecting it. Yeah. Or if I'm going for a run now, I will put it in beforehand.
Because you know you're washing your hair after.
Exactly, yeah.
How often should we be washing our hair?
Depends on everyone's hair. Depends on whether you're... Like, I can go a couple of days without washing my hair. But some people with very oily hair will have to do it every day. So it just depends on your own hair type.
I wash my hair every day. And
really?
It's not because it's oily. It's because I genuinely feel like it's my 10 minutes in the shower, and I feel...
It's a ritual, your daily ritual.
Yeah, I just feel better. I feel fresh.
No, I get it.
I don't feel fresh if I just jump into the shower and I don't wash my hair. And even though my husband like goes mental, because he's like, it takes you 20 minutes to blow dry it then.
Well, that's why I don't probably every day as well. It's I have very frizzy curly hair, so yeah.
And if you're blow drying it a lot, or using your hair straightener, or using your curler, the Dysons, what product would you recommend to put in? As a treatment? Like a treatment, or the drops. Which drops would you take?
For blonde hair?
Yeah.
Blonde hair is generally drier from all so the strength or the moisture will be the two. So we have 4. We strength, moisture, volume, and anti-frizz. Okay. But by far, the anti-frizz has been the best seller.
Is it?
Yeah. I think it's just Irish. It's the main hair concern in Ireland. Yeah.
Really? I would have never...
I wouldn't have known as well either. It's just, you know, when you see... And I'm sure we'll bring more out as well when we talk to our customers and see what... You know, when you speak to your customers, to see what are the main concerns.
Yeah.
But they were the 4 we started with.
And when you started, how did you decide, like, we're going to launch, we're going to go for this? Like, how did you get the courage to... Were you working, or were you a stay-at-home mom? You said you had your 3rd child. Yeah,
so no, I'm a chartered accountant. That's what I did for... I was 38. And then I had kids. And then I had... My husband he's in Wexford during the week, so I found myself... with the 3 of them.
Oh my... Sorry. I actually have to stop. Like, 3 kids by yourself. Like, holy... I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know how single moms do it. I don't know how moms that have partners that live away do it. I think I would lose my mind.
It is. It's really difficult. So I set about solving my own problems. So actually the first business I set up was childcare platforms to help parents find childcare.
Oh, so, yes. Yeah. I thought of this idea of this. I was like, somebody else has to create it, but I have this idea. It's kind of like executive help, right? So effectively what happens is you're stuck, you have nobody, and you just need that last minute. Like our childminder was sick yesterday.
Yes,
and I was like, holy shit, I had board meetings yesterday. One of the twins was sick yesterday. Yeah, pickups from school, like, and I was like, couldn't you just have this like subscription service that you can call on anybody? They can do all these levels of things for you.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you're not manifesting in 2025, then what are you doing? And for the love of the universe, will you take down your vision board? We know from neuroscience that you gotta write it to invite it. And that is why I created the Pause Penny Manifestation Box. 7 simple steps. Writing it down, visualization, and taking action, because we know action is key. And why should you listen to me? Well, you should listen to me because I've manifested it all. My soulmate, twins, dream job, dream houses, abundance. And I know that this is the right way. So you gotta write it to invite it. Pick up our bestseller manifestation box on pausepenny.com.
That's kind of was the idea where I was going with that, but to solve my own problems. So yeah, so that was in 2018, and I quit my job at that stage to do that full time. So suresitter.com is the platform that I created, and then we have a second one called mindme.ie.
Are you Mind Me?
Yeah.
That's how I got my childminder. Yeah, yes. Is that you?
Well, it is now. Yeah, we acquired it 3 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have gotten. Yeah. That's crazy. That's the platform that when anybody ever asks me, how did you find your childminder? I always say, Mind Me.
Yeah, it is like, and you know, when I set up SureSitter, Mind Me was obviously our main competitor, and it was really difficult to, you know, compete with them because they were so embedded into Google, their first mover advantage. There was so many things they had, but what we kind of did was, I think, we came along and added, you know, because they had a monopoly, they didn't have to do very much. So we would have added on SureSitter things like Garda vetting or Stripe ID verification. So then Mind Me went on and did the same as well, which is interesting. Yeah. So then we acquired that. So that kind of, it's just solved my own childcare issue. Childcare is a massive, massive issue. Massive.
It's a huge issue.
It is, and continues to be as well.
And it continues to be. And I just think as moms with kids as well, like I just, you know, I put up a post on LinkedIn recently, and it was just about like the fact that, you know, I'm pretty confident in my career and what I do and everything. But since I've had kids, I like, you know, there's a bit more doubt there when you're going back to work and you're like, is this right? Is that not right? And the other thing was, you know, I was meant to get something done in work, and I woke up this morning at 5 a.m. to do it. And I noticed that my boss did it. And I said to my husband, I was like, oh, that just doesn't look good, you know? And my husband said, did you not tell him our minder was out sick? And I said, I'm sick of making excuses. Yeah. I'm just sick of making excuses, being like, oh, by the way, our minder's out. Oh, by the way, my child is sick. Oh, by the way, they've got an appointment. At some point, I feel like when you're in a corporate career, you might not want to leave as a mom, since you've become a mom, because you hate your job. You might want to leave because you're just sick of juggling and making excuses.
I would agree. I was exactly the same. And I had the same thoughts as you in between, I think, with second and third child. I took a short break from work, and I thought, I'm never going to work as like, you've trained for so long at a career that I was never get a job again. And I stupidly took a job after my third child where it was full of month end reporting and stuff. And because I was up here, I ended up working. I had to have an au pair and a nanny because I was working like from 8 or 9 in the morning until 8 or 9 at night on my own, and like the childminder can only work certain hours, and it got too much, and I wasn't enjoying it. And I think when you get a bit older, you want to do something you love. And I don't know what flicked in me, something changed. And I think actually having done the childcare, this one was much easier to do because I'd already done it once. I said, you know what? What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, I do think that once you kind of hit that midlife and you might have had kids, that it's not, everyone says like, oh, it's the kids that change you. You just change because you've had kids. It's not necessarily, it does bring that on because the kids kind of make you realize what's important and being around and being there. But also there's more. There's kind of like, hold on a second, I've done this now for 15, 20 years. Like, is this actually bringing, what do I want to do in this world? What's actually going to make me wake up and have joy? But it takes a lot of courage to leave something. I don't think people realize the courage it takes to leave a job that's well paying. Yeah. You've went to college for a long time to be an accountant. You've put in the hard graft, the long hours. You're getting a dedicated salary. And then all of a sudden you're like, all right.
Yeah. And
like, that's not easy.
It's not. And actually what I ended up doing was getting a piece of paper and writing down the pros and cons. Very simple. And like, it was, as soon as I did that, it was clear as day. Like, the pros, the list was so long, and the only thing my fear was that I'd be here in 10 years' time and I'd regret not trying. Yeah. That was the biggest thing that pushed me to say, just what's the worst that can happen? You fail? How bad? You go back to it. But the worst thing would be to be here in 10, 15 years and go, why didn't I try? Why didn't I at least try?
Yeah, when somebody else has a product really similar to yours out and you're like, oh shit, why didn't I start?
Now I understand that like you're giving up salary and you're giving up, and that's not, it's not feasible for everyone, and it's not, you don't have to give up a job. You can start small and try yourself. And I would have done that at the start, actually. I would have taken a small bit of parental leave, and I did an accelerator course 1 day a week. Or was it 1 day a month, 1 day a week? I can't remember, before I quit. So I did take a bit of time, but it's the best thing I ever did. I don't think it could ever work for anyone again. I just.
Yeah, and you're smiling, like you have like a big smile. You're like, I left the corporate world and I'm, just having that flexibility and the freedom to make your own choices as well around what you're putting out into the world.
Completely. And even with the kids and stuff, like you're your own boss, so you decide, and I do fit it around. So I'm still, for the most part, on my own during the week. So I still fit everything around, even though they're bigger now, like two in secondary school and one in primary. But there's always someone calling you. They've missed something. They've forgotten something. They need to. You're always getting called, so you still have to be available.
Yeah,
and it's much easier to do that in my time than on a corporate time. It wouldn't work. It just wouldn't. It wouldn't be feasible.
Yeah, but the flip side of that is, what would I say it? The highs and lows of owning your own business. The rejections. The
constant rejection. Yeah, it's hard. You have to develop a really thick skin, like. But you just have to do it. You just have to get out of your comfort zone every day. Like even doing this. And it comes naturally to you now, but like it's not. You just have to do. You have to do what you've got to do.
Yeah, you have to feel the fear and do it anyway.
I've
had other people. It's been more recent actually that I've had some guests say to me like, "Oh, can we have a chat beforehand?" Or "Oh, can we have questions beforehand?" Or and I'm like, "What's?" Yeah. This is just a chat. Relax.
Yeah.
But it's I forget that I'm sitting here doing this all the time, and I love it. But not everybody is used to just sitting and just chatting and opening up. And I think the fear is as well that they're going to say something. They're like, "Why did I tell her that?"
No, there's all those fears, and it's just because I think you just have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. It's a saying I say to myself most days, because most days now when you start your own business, you are put in situations that you're uncomfortable in.
Yeah.
And you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
Like even going on things like TikTok and stuff, the thoughts of it, but yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Feel the fear and do it anyway. What's been the biggest challenge of having your own e-commerce? Because see, the platform that you have, SureSitter, right?
Yeah.
Is there a Mind Me part of it, or is it all collaborated now into one in one name?
No, they're both completely separate.
Okay. So what is one is more of a babysitting service and one a...
No, they're both very similar.
Okay.
We just still haven't, I suppose... We're just taking our time to figure out what's the best way forward, I suppose.
And what's what is there a team behind it, or is it just you working on there? Like, and how does that work?
It's me, and I have someone else. I'm a business partner I met on LinkedIn. I meet everyone on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I met someone on LinkedIn a few years ago and just got to know him. Started meeting him for coffee. We took a chance on each other, I think.
Yeah.
And it was the best thing I ever did. So trust your gut, I suppose, that like just, you know, opportunities are put in front of us all the time, but whether it's the right time or whether we take advantage of them or take...
Well, we can sabotage them.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And this was a huge risk, like I didn't know him at all, and he didn't know me, but I think we just took the risk and it's worked out really well. So he's more in the tech space, I'm in the finance space.
Yeah.
It's
a good, like that's a good, my husband does kind of the I don't even want to look at the numbers.
But that's fine. Like that's, you know, that's the same for most business owners.
But then I hide them from him because I'm just like, don't, like, because I want to just, you know, when you're a creative, you just know where you want to spend the money.
Yeah.
You're like, no, I want these tote bags with the manifest key rings inside them, even though they're going to cost me money and I'm actually going to make no money on this event. I'm going to lose money. But sure, everyone's going to have fun.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. And actually, that's probably one of the hardest things I've found with the business, the finance, the cost of everything. And
yeah.
It's, I suppose, as any industry is, every industry is really crowded. And how do you break out and how do you... That's a tricky one.
Like, how do you stand out?
Exactly. We're still figuring that out. And I think, you know, if you talk to most business owners, they'll say the same. I think it's, you know, social media is such a crowded space.
Yeah.
That how do you break through? But I think it's time. It's testing and learning and constantly trying new things.
Yeah. One thing that I'm doing now is I'm doing the Move and Manifest events. So it's like dance and then followed by like a manifestation talk, or I'm getting somebody which are brilliant, right? But it's a big challenge because I'm up against people who have their social clubs that are these 20-year-olds in their run clubs. I can't even run without wetting myself, folks. Like, come on. Do you know what I mean? So, and you can have a run. If you're younger, right, and you're sporty, which I was in my 20s, but I'm now 41. Firstly, I don't have that time. So I can't just go at 10 o'clock on a Saturday and do whatever I want. I have to say to my husband months out, do you have a football game here? Do the twins have this? Does Penelope have that? Does my other child have this? So you're limited in your time. So that's one thing. Secondly, like, it's free to go for these run clubs. You see them all over the place. It's
so
outdoor.
many of them.
It's free. To book a hotel for an event for me is between €700 and €900 for, say, 2-3 hours, right? Because you need to get a central hotel. Then you might have a little bit of food on top of it, which is tea, coffee, €10 per person. So that's adding up. Then you have your products. Like, you're at $2,000 for an event when somebody else is just out in the open going for their run. But
it's a hard one. There's so many, and we would face the same. You know, just like, what is the best way to do it? Like, and the run clubs have popped up massively in the last, I'm going to say, since COVID.
Yeah.
But then are there too many of those now as well? You know, so it's kind of finding something different.
Something different.
Because
you could have like a hair care night, you know, an online thing where people like do their hair while they're in a community and they talk about the hair care. Like, it's just trying to create something.
Building that community.
It's building a community.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something we're going to start working on now from, you know, it's something we haven't focused on. The first year was very much learning and kind of figuring things out. So year 2 is now start really focusing down.
But you won an award recently, didn't you?
Yeah, in October we won a Pure Beauty Award in the UK, which was kind of unbelievable. And
that's amazing.
Yeah, because K18 were in the same category, and it was like, to be in the same category as them, as a brand new Irish brand, and then to win on the night, I think everyone at the table was like, who's this Irish brand coming over? But it was incredible. Like, it just was, yeah.
And what does that kind of do for your brand? Like, winning those awards, do you like put it out there in your socials a lot? Did you see an increase in sales, or is it just...
I think, do you know what, and that, like, the mistake at the time, I didn't put it out in social.
Yeah.
I didn't, and I should have. And funny, I'm looking after our TikTok at the moment, and I did put it out in the last few weeks, just screenshot, and it exploded on it. Like, it, you know, compared to all of the other posts, I was shocked. It wasn't professional, it was just a screenshot, and it just went crazy, which was brilliant. So it was a real eye-opener, I think, to kind of, you just have to celebrate the wins.
Yeah, and I think that it's kind of an Irish thing, that we don't like to be salesy. We don't like to put stuff in people's faces.
Yeah, and I think you just have to.
Yeah, you know what I say, and I know people will be like, oh, but I always say, be like an American.
Yeah, well,
if
true.
you
Yeah.
have a brand, be like an American.
Yeah.
What would an American say? They are selling, buying and selling and selling and selling, and they don't care and they don't give a shit, and they put themselves out there, and they are sale. But we're just like, oh yeah, did we?
It's so true. Yeah, we just don't. So it's funny, like we did nothing with it back then, and I was like, why didn't we do that?
And that should be everywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, like completely. So it was a lesson learned. So those kind of lessons from last year, lesson learned, moving on, and yeah.
And where are your products now?
So we're starting our retail kind of journey now. I suppose we online, we're in Mars Pharmacy, Macaulay Pharmacy, and we're launching in Avoca next month, which is really nice.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
I love that's.
Yeah. So I'm thrilled. It's a really lovely retailer to partner up with. So really looking forward to doing lots of great stuff with them.
And Mars is great. They're like...
Yes, they are. Yeah, they're really big supporters of Irish businesses and stuff. They're brilliant.
Yeah. How did the retail, getting products into the retail, how did that start? How did you promote it? How did you find like pricing and all of that for the...
So we're definitely a premium brand, and the pricing was completely dictated by the cost of the ingredients and the product to make it. And there's no like, even things like sustainability is something that we don't shout about, but you know, we use a minimum of 30% PCR in all our packaging.
What's PCR?
Post-consumable recycled plastic.
Okay.
So even to find those type of things, you know, to kind of everything's that costs a little bit more, which is fine, but it's one of our values. So, and then in terms of retail, do you know how I got into Mars?
Yeah, tell me.
So
you manifested it.
I did. Well, I'm manifesting other ones as well, but I think Una O'Hagan had put up on Instagram last January, what's your New Year's resolution? And a little box on Instagram, and I wrote in to get our products into Mars. She wrote back straight away and gave us her contact details, and that's how we got into Mars. We just asked.
You got to shoot your shot.
You just have to go for it.
You have to go for it.
Yeah. So huge, you know, it was down to Una and her even responding. We weren't expecting a response, but she's so good.
But then when the door opens, so the opportunity is there, you have to go for it and not say, well, I don't have a team of 10 behind me, 15, 20, where, you know, you have to
that's like females with the job application where they say, oh, but I can't do that, the job spec, whereas guys are going to go, of course I can do it all. You know, you just have to go for it. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. You just have to go for it.
And then how did you get into Avoca?
Persevere, just constant perseverance and persistence, and
I know, I think it's both.
You just have to.
I think that's what people don't see. I think that they don't realize sometimes is that you're really like not annoying, but like you're sending the products, you're following up, you're following up.
So I don't think it's like there's loads of retailers in Ireland we'd love to be in, and we will get there. So I don't see it as a no. It's a no for now, even though them said no. But you just have to keep going.
Yeah, I'm like, no is a not yet.
Exactly. It's not. It's
no just not yet. It's like there's something bigger or better is coming along.
I'm a big believer in that. Actually, if nothing will ever pass you. If it's not for you, it's not the right time.
Yeah.
And you have to believe that
it's
something better is going to come along.
So, are you a manifester?
Oh, completely. Like I think, and especially being a solo founder, I think you'll probably find this as well. It's one of the hardest things being a solo founder. Because you've no one to bounce your ideas off. Even to talk out loud to someone, could do it to the wall, I suppose, but it's not going to answer back. That is definitely the hardest thing. So, and I think we just need that. And this is the second visit, like when I started Sure Sitter, I was on my own, but then I found my business partner, which was amazing. But here I am doing it again. You think I would have learned my lesson, but I didn't. But so I would write like notes on my phone. I would have all these little, constant reminders to myself. Or I'm very visual. I need to see things. Mm-hmm. So I have this wall in my office where I have the product. We cleared a shelf in Sephora. We're in Florida a year or two ago. Cleared it, put up the mask and the products. I got the two youngest kids because the oldest girl was too embarrassed to stand there, and I have the photos all over.
Oh, so you went into Sephora and you took the products down and you put up yours.
Yeah.
That's like something that I would do.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I have the two youngest going like, haircare is next biggest thing, and they're like,
yeah.
And and I still look at those pictures and think them, and I can visually now see the products on the shelves of Sephora.
C in Solu in Sephora. I'm telling you, C plus Solu in Sephora.
Like it's gonna happen. Like I can see
it. Get it, girl. Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I think that everything can happen when you visualize it. It's just the opportunities will start to come up. But I always say to people as well, like, something when I manifest, and the reason why I think I manifest, and I'm manifesting a lot more quickly now, is I put myself in the positions of getting a picture opportunity for it. So like putting the product on the shelf. Yeah. I want to write a book. Putting the book in Eason's is what I did with the fake cover.
Yeah.
If you see out there, we're in a podcast studio and there's like this big white backdrop and there's this big mic. I stood in front of it today. You'll see it on my stories later. And I'm like, I'm on stage, because I see myself on a big stage. But there's no point in me going into Image magazine or Gloss or whatever, Vogue, it doesn't matter, and cutting out a picture of somebody else on a stage that's not me, when I can get that opportunity myself.
100%.
Put yourself in those
100%.
positions.
And it's quite embarrassing, like, going into like to Sephora and clearing the shelf, saying, and we did the same in Ulta actually as well. But like
Where?
Ulta Beauty as well, we did the same in the US. Like, they could have like thrown us out of the store.
I did the same in Barnes & Nobles. Yeah. I have a picture of my manifestation box in Barnes & Nobles. I'm going around, I'm taking picture. Yeah. And you know what?
Yeah.
They don't care. But it is embarrassing, but you're almost laughing at yourself.
But now, but I'm so glad I have those, because I can visually see us on shelf now. I can see where we want to be. And another thing, actually, so my youngest, I sat down at my desk a few weeks ago and there was a little piece of paper left, and it was neatly left on the table. And it had C plus Solu, and then in kind of squiggly letters, the build-up. And it had like Amazon, Boots, Cult Beauty, Ulta and Sephora, SEFORA. And Charlotte had written this, and I was like, she had it perfectly mapped out. And I don't really speak to the kids, at home about where we're going to go into retail and stuff. And I just said to her, she was 9 at the time, I was like, why did you do this? Or what? I want to be like you, Mommy. We didn't even bat an eyelid. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like, she thinks she can do this. I'm going to keep going. Like, it just, it really stopped me in my tracks.
Yeah, you're inspiring them to like go after
anything's possible. Yeah,
their dreams.
So it was I was like, oh my God. She had it all mapped out. I was like, new head of retail. She'd probably do better selling than I would. But it was another element to the whole thing of like, this is brilliant. This is showing them that they can do anything.
But you have to be a bit delusional, right?
Oh, you have to be a bit nuts and a bit delusional.
Yeah, crazy to be a solo founder.
It kind of is. And I know they say like it's a roller coaster, the highs are highs and the low, but it is true.
It is.
It's a really emotional journey. You're putting yourself out there, and you have to be a bit mad and a bit
cracked. But I actually, in my very first year, I found it the toughest, because as a solo kind of founder, first of all, I had the twins. I still had a legal career and all that stuff. And so what I started to do was I said, my husband was like, Yvonne, because I was like, the number of sales coming in dictated my mood. So if there was a day and there was no sales, I was really flat for no reason. And my husband, I remember him saying to me, he was like, I am literally just going to get my friends to buy your product. Just like, it could have just been one sale that would have made me smile. But I saw them coming in. So what I did was I was like, you know what? The highs are high, the lows are low, but these lows are very low. And I find that quite hard to take, because first of all, I'm a very happy, positive person. So I started to journal. I was like, I'm going to start taking down how many days I'm low because of the business. And it actually was less than I thought when I looked back on it. And I was like, okay, but it's just that the low days, it's just like a negative comment.
Yeah.
Takes you by so much more than a positive, than a positive one. But in my second year now, it's more like I'm going into my third year now, but like, it just doesn't bother me as much. I've let go that attachment to the sales. I'm like, it's just going to happen. It's fine.
Yeah.
You get used to it. You see more traction, and it's a little bit easier.
You have to. And I think, but that's building a thicker skin. That's you just have to, or you'll never grow, or it'll just, it'll impact your mental health. And you have to find something that is a break, because what I find is 24/7 you're working. like 24, it is 24/7. So you need something that allows you, whatever it is. Like for me, I took up running a few years ago, and I can't have a phone when I'm out running, so I can't check, messages or whatever the case may be. It's the only time.
Yeah, for me, it's actually the podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
No phone as well?
Yeah, because you've no phone. It's like you get to have that conversation for an hour, or like today I have 2 guests. It's going to be 2 hours long. It's a little bit beforehand, a little bit like I just can't check the phone.
And you're in the moment.
And you're totally in the moment. But it is, I think probably when you start your own business, you're just so naive. You just think that the sales are going to absolutely...
Well, yeah. If you knew what was going to happen, you probably wouldn't do it though. Because it is so tough, and because sales don't come as easy as you think they're going to come. And I think if you knew all that, you might not go into it.
Yeah, for me personally, I think sales and marketing is a lot harder than I thought. Like how to get the right bloody ad. How to get the right hook.
Yes. And the thing you think is going to work doesn't work. And the thing that works is completely not professional and not, it's just... Yeah.
It's trial and error kind of
constantly.
All the time.
Constantly.
But I actually feel like sales is like initially when I started, because the brand is all manifestation, I was like, this is going to be so easy. Because this is my problem. My problem is that there's nothing proper that you write it down. So it's going to be so easy to sell. But it's same with the hair care. This is the hair, your problem. So it's obviously other people's problem. But how do you get them to know that this is a problem?
Completely. And getting that messaging across online and that communication, it's just really because it's so crowded as well. It's just a really difficult one. It's just trial and error. I think every brand faces the same issues. You just mightn't see it from the outside. Yeah. I'm just very honest, I think. I'm just very open about the journey and, how it is difficult.
Yeah. Do you put up your behind the scenes of the brand, or what's your kind of...
Not really.
What's your social strategy?
I suppose no, I haven't. Up until now, I wanted the brand to stand on its own 2 feet without having me involved. Not involved, sorry, the face of it. But having said that, people buy from people and they need to see you. And I think I've realised that now. So I've no problem getting out on social media and doing stuff. It's just striking that balance.
Yeah.
Of giving informative, educational, value to people on social media rather than just posting.
Yeah.
There has to be value. So I think our strategy going forward is definitely that. How do we add value to people? Why would someone follow us? What are we giving them?
Yeah, and even for me, like I had actually before 2 pages. Like I had the Yvonne page and the Pause Penny page. And I actually took down the Pause Penny page because I found that for me, everyone was coming to my page and it was creating but I still think there are, like this brand that I'm wearing today, the Mayfair group, it's all colorful. Like I've had people say to me, is that your brand? Because it's very me, right?
Yes, yeah.
But I don't know who the founder is. So I do still think there are a lot of brands. We've now become a society where people are harping on about, it's about the people buy from people. It's about the person. Yes, we do. But there are so many brands out there as well that are standalone, and we don't know who the face is behind them. Like we no longer know who's behind Nike and Adidas, and do you know what I mean? There are lots of brands out there. So, but for me, I always knew that I like to be in front of the camera. I'd like to be on stage. I'd like to have a book. So the brand for me is actually going to move and shift to be more of a personal brand than
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Than a static. But the key thing is, I find on my social media that I've found is that less people will comment these days on anything, right? But if you give tips and you educate, it's the saves. You'll see that people are saving. Yeah. So even with the hair care, it can be like, did you know that when you put it here, when you have it this long, it's the value?
Yeah. 100%.
Because people want to learn.
Yeah, completely. Because there's just so much content out there.
Yeah.
Like it has to add value to people. So that's kind of really important. So again, but like social media is changing constantly as well. So you kind of have to keep up with that and kind of constantly evolve it and change it.
Totally. But were you at an event recently? Did I see you at something with a couple of other brands?
Oh, yes. We were at the Burst event down at Paris Court. Burst are a US oral care brand that just launched in Ireland. And they had brought press and influencers and some of the dental community down to Paris Court for the whole day, and hired out the entire spa. And they had a couple of Irish brands, which was lovely. There was 4 Irish, myself, Kim O'Sullivan from Brow Aid.
Oh yeah, I had her on the podcast.
Michelle from Solstice Skin, and there was Curly Co. And it was lovely. Like, it was such an honour for us to be allowed to join in on that, to almost, rather than just one event, like for one brand, to bring Irish brands along with them was incredible. So we were delighted to be involved with them. So yeah, that was great.
Yeah, you know, have you started looking at spas, like for your hair masks and stuff?
It is. So that and hair salons is another avenue we're going to kind of look at as well. Because we are professional kind of quality products. But again, we can't do everything at the moment. That's the other side. There's so many ways you can go with a business, and I think whether that's geography wise or it's channels, you have to focus down on one or two and get that right.
Yeah, and I think as well as when you're a solo founder, the challenge is you can't do everything. You cannot do everything, and that can be frustrating.
It's really hard. So we're taking on our first full-time employee next month, which is huge. Up until now, we kind of worked with freelancers and stuff, and it's been great. But now it's time to, really start building the team.
Yeah.
Start building that in-house team that can dedicate all their time to the brand and that really love the brand.
Yeah. What's your first hire?
Marketing and PR manager.
Yeah. I think it's so funny. I would say the number one person that you need in your business initially is like marketing, social media, marketing, PR.
And we've had, social media, and we've had, people doing content and stuff. But I don't think it's enough anymore just to post social media. There has to be much more of a strategy to it and a plan. And as I say, kind of, why are you posting social media? What value is it at? Really question what you're posting, not just randomly post stuff. So,
yeah.
We'll have a lot of, the marketing piece is the piece. And I'm not from a marketing background. It's not. Yeah. It's not my area of expertise.
It's definitely strategy and PR. I remember when I first started Paws Penny, I got PR. I got some a consultant in and did PR. And initially I was like, hold on a second. This isn't doing anything. Because it was, what I didn't realize is PR is just all paper. And I wanted, press. And it wasn't a lot of press. But I didn't see the returns immediately. And I was like, this is crap. I want to be on TV. It's I want to be on TV or whatever. But it wasn't until a while after that I'd go to events and someone would say, oh, I read that Irish Times article you were in, or I read that Image article you were in. And I was like, oh, now I'm seeing it.
Yeah, it takes time.
It does take time.
Yeah, so there's nothing. It just takes time.
That's the biggest challenge of having patience.
Oh, yeah, and I really struggle with that. I was saying earlier, I'd love to press fast forward and be 10 steps ahead of my head. So I have to stop and actually enjoy the journey. Sometimes we're so busy rushing, we want to be here, there and everywhere. But actually, we should be enjoying the whole process and kind of. So I've very much taken that mindset now to kind of just sit back and enjoy the process.
Yeah.
And see where we end up, see where it takes us.
Yeah, I think the problem is that we just want to know, especially if you're, accountancy, law, it's this type A personality, control, need to know where we're going, need to know where our goals is, has to be here at this timeline, instead of being well, let's take all the action steps we need. Let's visualize. Let's go into Sephora and take all the stuff down off the shelves. Take our pictures and just see what the universe throws back at us.
Yeah, and be open to what the universe throws.
Which is usually better.
Yep, agreed.
Than what you could have expected.
Yep.
Your profile of your target market. What is the profile for the brand typically?
I would say female 25 plus, 25 to 55. We're getting a real mix of kind of, because we're kind of solving problems, we would get contacted by, a huge variety of people, coloured hair and brittle hair, people who are with alopecia, because we don't have any a huge amount of chemicals or anything in the products. It's a real mix. And then younger girls for the slick back look, for the run clubs in the gym, they put it in. So there's a real mix of customers.
Oh, wow. They put it in like before they'll put the mask in, is it?
Do the slick back look and then go for their run or, yeah.
Okay.
So you're kind of getting the treatment as well as the look, the slick back look.
That's actually a really great idea if you think about it. Like we're so short on time that if you can build in your hair care to something that you're doing. And this is what I kind of teach with manifestation. You're brushing your teeth, guys, say your affirmations, say you're making your coffee, say your gratitude. So now you have to think about it like when you go to the gym or when you're just getting up, like you do, build it into your day, which sounds like what you've done as well.
Well, I was kind of thinking for myself as like, you know, at the time a busy working mum, I couldn't be taking time to get in the shower, you know, put in a mask, get out of the shower, leave it and come back. So I wanted something that fit into my day. So like, say I was getting up to go for a walk or even working from home, put it in because it's a pre-shampoo treatment as well.
So can you put it in on dry hair?
Dampen your hair and put it in and just tie it back.
All you
and
have
leave
to do is put a little bit of water in your hair, dampen it a little bit and then put it in, tie it back.
And then leave it and go about your day or, you know, go for a walk or work or whatever you're doing. So that was kind of the aspect I was looking for initially, like to make it simple to fit into your life because we're all busy.
Yeah.
You know, so it's trying to make the most of your time. Similarly with the manifestations, like to, you know, as you say, go to the gym and you're saying them in your head and so you're kind of utilising your time.
Everything needs to be built into your lifestyle because 100%. A lot of people ask that question. They're like, how do I stay consistent? I'm like, well, you're not going to be consistent if you don't make it a habit.
Completely, yeah.
So it's building that into your day. Into your day. And how long would you, like, what's the maximum amount of time you should leave the mask in for?
10 minutes. Like, it's quite a rich treatment. So if your hair is extremely dry or if your curly hair, generally curly hair is drier because the natural oils don't get stuck in the kinks of your hair.
Okay.
So the ends are much drier. So if your hair is really dry or really damaged, it's probably best as a post-shampoo treatment because it's rich and you can just rinse it out. But if your hair is normal and it's not, you know, massively damaged, it might be better to use as a pre-shampoo and then shampoo it out.
And could you, like, if you were going for a run that was, say, my runs would be short, 30 minutes. Like, is it like... Or
I'd leave it in for, like, if I'm going for a long run, I'll leave it in for 2 hours or if I was, you know, whatever.
Do you go for runs as long as 2 hours?
Well, I did a few marathons. Well, so in the lead up to marathon, you could be doing, I think, up to 3.5 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, I did one in London a couple of years ago.
London was incredible. I did London.
Yeah, it was.
Unbelievable experience.
But my heart surgeon, like, didn't know I was doing it. And then afterwards, he was like, okay, we've had your heart surgery. Yeah, you know, like, no marathons. And I was like, oh, okay, shit. But that's actually a really great idea, putting it in.
Yeah.
Before you got to get your own run club.
If you're going to a yoga class or whatever, you know.
Think about it. You are the picture of a run club.
Yes, we could be.
Because you're already a runner. And I also think as well, like all these run clubs, now I'm sure you're really fast and stuff and I'm very slow.
No, I'm not actually.
But all these run clubs are really young,
they are
fit girls with their crop tops on like I used to have in my 20s. But like... Yeah. I think that there could be something for us, older women.
Oh, definitely. Like, I only took up running in the last 2 or 3 years, and I set myself the challenge of doing a half marathon, having never did any exercise in my life, ever. I said, right, I'm going to do one half marathon. Did one abroad. Like, this is good fun. So, got a few more weekends out of different half marathons, and then, okay, I'm going to do one full marathon, one. But like anything, once you do one, you're like, I got the bug.
Yeah.
And but the mental strength it gives you, like, talk about manifesting. Like, I find myself running around. So someone said to me, your legs will keep going as long as your head tells them to. So I look like a mad woman sometimes running around going like, when you're about to fall over, I'm like talking out loud to myself going, keep going, you can do it. So it builds an incredible amount of mental strength running.
Yeah.
And that's been the biggest gift for me. It's not the physical side is kind of a bonus maybe, but the mental strength it's given me has been unbelievable.
And it's all about your mindset.
All about your mindset. It's all in your mind. Your legs will keep going as long as your head tells them to.
Yeah.
It's mad.
It totally. Susie talks about that as well. Susie O'Neill from AU. She's
a great runner.
She's big into running.
She's huge.
But I actually think that running it's like another form of manifestation.
Oh,
because
definitely.
you're always visualizing the end, like you're getting towards the end, and as you get towards the end, you almost can pick up your speed, you know.
You do, and even the mental, like, so I did Chicago in October, and it was a complete and utter disaster. I was so sick, and I shouldn't have went. I didn't know before when I went out that I was so sick, and I got to about 3 miles in, and I had to walk the whole thing, 6 hours, and honestly, I've never been so sick. And a few people said to me afterwards, "Did you not think of stopping?" I was like, "No." Like, it never even... I just kept telling myself, just keep going. It never even entered my head to stop. But just mentally, the strength you got to just keep going to that end. Like, you were on a pathway and you were going to continue to go. It's funny. It's hard to explain. But
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't know. Would I have stopped?
It was torture. It was absolute torture. They often say, like, it's, was it business up front and party at the back? It was no party at the back. It was horrendous.
But I would actually, I think as well, sometimes if you're, and I see this in business, like if you've made a commitment to yourself that you're going to do it, that you're not willing to just, it's kind of a testament to your discipline that, like, I've made a commitment, I'm not a quitter, even if I have to crawl to the end.
That's the way
I'm going to get there.
I would have crawled to the end. And you do, like, doing a marathon is a part-time job. The amount of hours you put in the lead up to it it's huge. Like, it's, those long runs are just crazy. But there's nothing like it.
I know. I went for before the London Marathon, because I was going to Thailand for like 2 weeks before the London Marathon, so I had to get in this long run. And I did this long run at, like, before work at like 4 a.m. in the morning, out to Dunleary and back. But this was the time before there was, like, you could have money on your phone, the way you pay Revolut now. So this is back in, like, God, when did 2011 or something like that. It's a long time ago. And I went for this run from Sandymount all the way to Dunleary and back. But when I got to the end in Dunleary, the way they have the path, like you're on the prom kind of, and I ran back, it started to hailstone. And it was so cold, it just started to piss rain and hailstone. And my hands were so cold, I couldn't even zip up my top, that I actually got hailstones on my chest that were so severe that it left a scar. That when I got home, because I had to get home, so I couldn't call a taxi because there's no phones and money, and it was so different. I remember collapsing in the bathroom. I was so cold. I was freezing cold. But when I got to Thailand, the Thai women were pointing at my chest. I'm like, what happened to you? Because there's a massive scar for years. That was a dedication. Like, go 4 a.m. in the morning before you go into your corporate law job, running.
That's what it does. It just...
like a maniac.
And, like, if you said to someone to do that, you think you're crazy. But that's what you do when you're marathon training. I think you have to be a little bit crazy to do a marathon, though.
Yeah. I don't have the bug anymore, though. I'm like, I don't mind a little 20, 30-minute run.
And that's the other thing. If you stop at all, if you stop training, you lose it's very hard to get back. I find, maybe it's because I'm older and not that fast. But if you take a break at all, you're back to square one again.
Yeah, but it's not really about being fast either. It's just about enjoying it.
It's about enjoying it. Yeah, it is.
And do you think about the business, or do you play music, or what do you do? What's going on in your head when you go for a run?
I listen to music all the time, and then I found these, they're not podcasts, but they're kind of snippets of, like, motivational snippets.
Yeah.
They are mixed into my podcast, and when it gets really tough and they come on, like, they kind of parry you through.
Yeah, listening to something.
Yeah,
I have to listen to music when I'm running.
Yeah, same. Always.
Yeah.
Because I run on my own. I don't run with people. A friend of mine said, like, you should join a run club. It's easier with people. And it probably is much easier with people. But I actually enjoy the time. It's the one time on my own that I do enjoy.
Yeah. When do you go for your runs? Like, is it morning or evening, or?
Again, it's trying to fit it in. And actually, right at the moment, I don't have... You need to have something in the diary as in a half or a full or something, some goal to aim. Yeah. Now, I'm going to Lisbon in April, but I haven't really started training for that. The last few weeks have just been really tough with work, just really busy.
Yeah.
But I get out whenever I can. So whenever I can just fit it in around the kids, I suppose, and whenever... Yeah. Harder in the winter when the days are shorter and it's cold.
Yeah, my concern is being by myself early in the morning. I'm just afraid.
I wouldn't go out too early. Although where we are, it's kind of lots of cars around and people. It's not too isolated. I wouldn't be too concerned going out in the main roads.
Like, would you go out at 6 a.m. or
when it was dark?
Yeah.
I probably would on the main road. Yeah.
Yeah, I would be nervous.
Yeah, I've never gone out that early. Probably 7 is probably the earliest I've gone out.
Yeah, even 7 is dark though.
Well, now it is. Yeah.
So I'd just have this thing like I would just be a bit afraid. I was jumped in Lanzarote once.
Oh, well, that's what. Yeah, that doesn't help matters at all. I'd be terrified as well.
But I was young. I was young, but like still, I just think. Yeah, I think it's for me. I just would prefer it to be bright because you have you've earphones in. So if somebody, and I remember when I was younger as well, when I was living kind of more towards Ballsbridge, but I was walking to the gym really early one morning at 7 a.m. and a taxi pulled in and followed me. And I was followed in Sandymount a couple of years ago at the Bottle Bank in the Sunday, in the bright of day. I was at the Bottle Bank by the Aviva. I was putting my bottles away. This guy pulled up right behind me, and I specifically remember this because when my husband had told me, when you get home, back the car in, and I didn't like at the time backing the car in, it was narrow. So I was really conscious of I was really conscious that day of I have to back the car in. So this guy pulled in behind me. I put my bottles away. I left, and then he came out and left as well. And I was following the Sandymount, Hotel, and I was taking a left turn. I was thinking in my mind, please don't take a left. Please don't take a left. Please don't take a left. And what does he do? He takes a left turn. So what I did was I pulled in, and he pulled in behind me. And I was like, what is he doing? And so then anyway, pulled out again, and I pulled into my driveway. This is a Sunday at 3:00. Pulled into my driveway, and he drove past. I got out of my car, and he kind of waved at me as if he knew me. I was like, that's so strange. So I went into my house, and I opened the door. I told my husband kind of something really weird. Next thing, I got a knock on the door from this guy, and he was an older man, and he was like, do you live here? And I said, yeah. And he just said, are the houses on this road expensive? And I said, define expensive. And he said, are there any up for sale? And I just looked at him and I was like, I would suggest you go to an estate agent. Yeah. And then my husband was like, Yvonne. And then that guy just left. And I reported it to the guards, and they just said he didn't commit a crime. And I said, he followed me.
Yeah.
He followed me, got behind me at a Bottle Bank, followed me the whole way. He didn't know. I could have lived anywhere. Yeah. And so why was he, so I do think that I'm very conscious of my surroundings, and I personally wouldn't like to go out, it's strange.
Yeah, I suppose, look, it's a shame that we have to think that way as well, but you're probably right. We probably should be careful of our surroundings, unfortunately. But yeah, I tend to just go out when it is bright.
Yeah, I would do it during the day. I think there's something less, scary.
Yeah, although it is nice to go out early in the morning when it's bright and there's no one out. I love going out running then. When there's no one on the roads. There's something lovely about that.
There is, but I'm a scaredy cat. So Sea plus Solu, where is it going?
Where's Sephora?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the ultimate dream. I think when I started Childcare as a first business, I probably didn't have I did have ambitions, but probably didn't think I could scale it as much. So doing the second time round, I would love this to be a global brand. And very proudly Irish brand, but on a global scale. So to me, success looks like getting into Sephora in the US, Ulta Beauty and big retailers, and just creating a brand that people love, like a genuine brand of products that people love.
And that you start to see in the retail stores, you start to see in the hair salons.
Absolutely.
You recognise the name.
That's what I would absolutely love, and that's the aim for the brand. It's going to take time, but we'll get there.
Yeah, you absolutely manifest it.
Manifest it.
You'll be going into if you see Sinead in any of the stores, knocking off
clearing shelves.
We're going to clear. Okay, first of all, we're going to go into Irish stores, but we're going to take off any brands that are not Irish.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so they have to go.
Replace with
Irish.
Irish.
We'll be supportive of other Irish brands, but if they're not Irish,
absolutely. Yeah.
We're going to take them off, and then we're going to put Sea Solu on there, and we're going to take pictures.
We're going to take pictures.
And then you're just going to visualize it.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then you just have to go. And so for anybody else that's out there that is a solo founder or wants to give up the corporate life, go after their dream, what do you say to them?
Do it. Oh my God, life is so short. You don't have to give up your job. You just have to start and try something small. It doesn't mean giving up your job at all, because it's not feasible at the start.
Yeah.
And also take advantage of, there's so many grants and supports out there that are available from like the local Leos and places like that. So many supports out there.
Yeah.
So utilise them.
Yeah, I got money actually when I launched Pause Penny from the local enterprise office. I got they have a grant for up to 15K for like a new business that can be scalable. I got 7.5, which was great.
Yeah, so I actually, with SureSitter, I got 5. So didn't use it at all, but second time round, I got the 15 and we used it actually for the formulation of the products because they're really expensive to formulate products.
Yeah.
But there's so many other ones. There's the trading online voucher. There's the priming grant for employees, and like there's loads of supports out there, and all of those are non-equity based, so you're not giving away equity.
Yeah.
So definitely utilise them.
The thing is that you have to sit down and give your time to filling out those forms, but it's worth it when you're getting money.
It is, and some of the forms do force you to actually think about the business and the cash flow and the projections for the next couple of years. Things that you may not want to think about, but look, they do force you to do it, but it's a good thing.
Yeah, I did my projections, and they gave me. Also the local enterprise office will give you a mentor.
Yeah.
And I said I wanted a finance mentor because I'm shit with numbers, and I don't want to look at numbers. I want to ignore them, and just live in delusional land where I can just spend all the money that I want, right? But they gave me this guy, and we forecasted it out over like 3 years, 5 years, or whatever. The delusions were unbelievable. The amount of sales I thought I was going to make.
Oh, I know.
It's off the Richter scale.
But if you don't believe you'll get them, it'll never happen. You still have to believe that you can do that and still have the vision.
I wondered but there was no reality in it. Like, I was totally and utterly delusional. I look back and I'm like, how did I think I was going to make that many sales in a month when I just launched?
Well, yeah, when you first launch, it doesn't quite happen, straight away, but you have to have the big vision of where, how you are going to achieve those sales.
You do have to dream big a little bit.
You have to dream big. Always dream big. Always dream big. And the other thing is then programs like for female entrepreneurs, they're going for growth.
Yeah. Did you do that?
I'm doing it now.
Oh, you are?
And I have the most amazing mentor or lead entrepreneur in Marissa Carter.
Oh, Marissa, yeah.
She
That's her on the podcast.
Fantastic.
Chasing her. Stalking her.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, she's
have a
great.
word with her.
I was in her. She had an event there. She's doing... What I love about Marissa, actually, is that she's doing a lot of community events. So I was in the restaurant Pink recently, and she was doing an influencer Cocoa Brown tan, influencer Pink, and I was like, I must go up and say hi to her. So I messaged her afterwards. I was like, just a reminder, and she's like, I'll get it. So I think she's amazing, and to give back to other female founders. Because
do you know what I'll say about it? She's the most honest person and open with like what they've gone through in Cocoa Brown and. Incredibly open and honest, and creates an environment like the six businesses with Marissa, and she creates an incredibly open environment for us to be open as well.
Yeah.
But she's very open with information about her business as well. Like, she's incredible.
Yeah, and also I think if you're a solo founder in particular, you need that support of other people being just to say, how did you do this? Or how did you get into this store?
100%.
Or how are you doing your marketing? Or are you doing paid ads? Or how much are you putting behind your ads? Even those little questions.
Yeah, oh, completely.
That you would ask people, like, how much do you actually put behind your ads? Like, wouldn't you like to know a brand that's doing, like, well, or even up and coming? Like, what does the money look like that's going behind it? Because we don't get those answers unless we're with the people sitting with them,
Yeah, and that's what we kind of have, an open space for us all to kind of talk about that and ask those questions and get honest answers.
Yeah.
But she facilitates that. She's incredible. Nothing but good things to say about her.
And what's the format like for females? So somebody wants to go for going for growth. What is it actually? Like, is it once a month or?
Yeah, it's 6 months, once a month.
Yeah.
For a morning.
Yeah.
That's the commitment, where we sit in a round table event. We take a boardroom and we sit, and there's an agenda for each meeting. Like, it might be finance. We were discussing margins and sales this week, but other months there'll be other kind of topics. It's very well organised, and you get huge value from it. Particularly for me, I think, because Marissa's in a very similar space, in the beauty space.
Yeah,
she's the perfect entrepreneur as a mentor to me.
And if you're in a different space, do they allocate the do you apply for this, right?
You apply around November time. You're here in December. It starts in January. We had a full day in January, and then it runs until June. And I think the lead entrepreneurs themselves pick the businesses.
The businesses that they want
exactly.
in their group.
So we have a really diverse group. Our group is massively diverse. Everything from a couple of childcare businesses. Or not childcare, sorry. Product businesses.
Product, yeah.
A design studio, Harad Studios. There's a mix, a real mix, which is lovely because you're getting creatives and finance people and different ideas and kind of, thoughts. And it opens your mind up as well to different things as well, particularly when you're a solo founder.
Yeah, because you just need those people to bounce.
You do.
To bounce.
You have to have people to bounce off. It's just really hard on your own to. Just to hear how people are doing. Everyone's going through the same issues, and to know that others are going through the same and how they overcame them, it's brilliant.
Yeah, and you just feel like you're not the only one that's kicking your legs under the water,
completely.
Like drowning.
Yeah. Oh yeah, completely.
And you're like, oh yeah, that's totally normal.
Yeah, and it's nice to hear that. It's reassuring.
It is. It's reassuring. It's like, oh, good. That happened to you too, or that's happening to you, or you feel like shit too. I'm delighted.
Yeah.
But it's just helpful to feel that sense of togetherness, kind of.
Yeah. You find your tribe. Like, not even find your tribe, just other people that are going through the same things you are.
Yeah.
That's all it is. They understand. Because I think a lot of your friends and stuff, and family even, that don't have their own business or don't, aren't creative. Like, they don't understand really. Probably think you're nuts for even doing it in the first place.
Yeah.
That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, I find probably the biggest challenge for me is that I'm so consumed by the business and what I do that it takes over my family conversation with my husband, right? So he's just like, would you shut up talking about, I don't care about the podcast guest. I don't care about Pause Penny. I don't care about your manifestation challenge. And I'm just like, but this is, I need somebody to talk to. I can't talk to myself about this. I need to share my highs and my lows, but they're just not in it like you are.
No, they're not. So that's where somewhere like a Going for Growth or a program, or there's loads of networks out there that's where they come in, and they really are important, like, kind of to have that support.
Yeah,
really important.
Do you find with your husband this is a big topic of conversation, the business?
Well, he's not there during the week.
Yeah. But when you do, then you're like,
no, I don't really talk to him about it at all.
Ah, that's good.
He's also an accountant, so he has a practice, so he would do our statutory accounts. So he does have a role to play in that sense. So I would bounce some ideas off him, but I mean, no, I try not to too much.
Yeah, something I need to probably learn.
Sorry?
It's something I probably need to learn. Like, I dominate the I'm like, guess this happened, this, and my husband.
I know when it's time to stop. I know I have to. I could talk about it all the time, but I don't. A bit like that. I know when I need to stop.
Yeah. And if he's away as well, like, it's different because your time is so minimal.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we don't have as much. Yeah, it's true actually. Yeah, so we try not to talk about it. Having said that, it's very hard to avoid it when it's.
Yeah, but it's also hard as well. Like when you have friends that are not in the same space, they're not entrepreneurs. They don't have their product, so that's why you need to have.
You do. I think it's one of the best things. You have to find someone. You mightn't realise you need it actually as a solo founder, but when you do find someone who understands, who's going through the same, it's such a relief.
Yeah.
It's such a relief.
Yeah, and you can just get, and it's like you just get it off your chest, and you just get each other.
You just get each other. Just get each other.
It's like moms. Moms just get each other.
It's so true.
You know?
Yeah. You Yeah.
Like someone said to me the other day, it was really funny. We had a meeting, we had a breakfast lunch thing together, and one of them was a mom and the other one doesn't have kids yet. And I was like, before I meet, I'm getting my Botox. And the girl without kids said, and the other mom said, laughed and was like, I just got mine done. Something like that. And the one without kids said, oh, girls, you look fabulous without the Botox. I was like, oh, yeah. And your kids won't eat snacks either. Wait for it. you know, and it's fine. I don't care who gets Botox or who doesn't get Botox. But I'm like, just wait until you feel like it's just different. It's a different connection.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It is. That's funny. I did a program. It's not around anymore. I did it with Sure-Sitter in 2018. It was the DCU Ryan Academy Female High Flyers. And to this day, some of the girls that were on that, they're all in very different businesses. But they're still really important, a really important part of my journey as well. And we still reach out to each other and stuff like that. And it's invaluable having that network.
Yeah.
Invaluable.
Yeah. I can't believe you are behind Mind Me and Sure-Sitter.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really... They're different I think with tech businesses and with something like childcare, that's a necessity. Like, they're just they're a much, I'm not going to say easier business. People need childcare. They don't necessarily need products. So they're very, very different. And it's been huge learnings actually for me to do both.
Yeah, because they're totally different. Like one is self-generating revenue, right? The tech platform, which is amazing, but I'm sure you have all these issues, data protection, GDPR, names, all that stuff is just...
Yeah.
But the products require operations.
Products require an awful lot more. I would say the product business is 10 times harder.
Yeah.
In terms of logistics, upfront costs for product, minimum MOQs, issues with product, issues with packaging, the marketing costs, which, I mean, that's an open end. It could, you could spend as much as you want or as little as you want on that. There's just so much more to it than...
Yeah, because see, the thing is about a product like this, right? Your product you might not necessarily go search for it, but you are going to search for a minder.
100%. You need
to see the ad for Sea Solu, right? But for a minder, you're searching for them because we all need one.
Absolutely.
So it's it's great though because you can understand the differences in the two businesses. But when I started Pause Pennies, someone told me initially, they were like, you got to make it digital. It's good. And honestly, if it was digital, my life would be so much easier. But my challenge is, I really believe it's so important to write it down, physically write it down. Yeah. And we know the neuroscience behind it. So I just don't want to, it almost feels like a little ritual with your box and writing it down. But honestly, my life, everything, my costs would have quarter if I didn't have all this product operations. And I made the biggest, on this last note, I made the biggest mistake that I ever have as a founder, which was I bought way too much product thinking I was going global when I started out. And now I would change up the packaging. And I just went nuts, because that was my delusion.
Yeah, I think we all do that though. I think that's the sort of mistakes everyone makes those sort of mistakes.
Yeah, small. You start small, guys.
Start small. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
You get there. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sinead. Yeah. Get your hair care in. Manifestation Queen, Sea Solu, and it is Irish brand. And let's get into Sephora.
Let's get there, guys.
Yeah.